Welcome back too. If you've ever wondered why your pharmacy looks like a laboratory, well, that's because it literally evolved from one. Today, we're diving into one of history's most fascinating transformations, how medieval alchemy became the foundation of modern pharmaceutical science. And if you love the weird intersection of history and science, you're in the right place. Let's go back to the Middle Ages and see where it all began. First, let's clear up a major misconception. When most people think of alchemy, they imagine old men in pointy hats trying to turn lead into gold. But the reality? Much more interesting. Medieval alchemists, primarily operating between the 8th and 16th centuries, were actually early chemists. They worked in a world without modern science, experimenting with materials, temperatures, and reactions, trying to understand the very nature of matter itself. They developed crucial laboratory techniques that we still use today: distillation, crystallization, fermentation, and sublimation. These weren't just academic exercises. They were solving real problems. Most alchemists weren't looking to break the laws of physics. They were looking for transmutation on a molecular level, which, spoiler alert, is basically what modern chemistry does. They just called it something different. Now here's where it gets really relevant to modern medicine: the search for the elixir of life. Alchemists obsessed over creating a universal cure, a substance that could heal any illness. While they never found the literal elixir, they did something arguably more important. They systematically studied plant compounds, minerals, and animal extracts. They documented which plants treated which ailments. They figured out how to extract active compounds. They experimented with dosages. This was the birth of pharmacology. Medieval apothecaries, people who actually prepared medicines for patients, worked hand in hand with alchemists. Together, they created the first organized systems of medicine preparation and record-keeping. By the 14th century, the first pharmacopoeias were being written. Basically, the first drug handbooks listing medicines, their ingredients, and how to prepare them. Sound familiar? That's exactly what the FDA's pharmacopoeias do today. Let's talk about specific discoveries that literally changed medicine forever. Distillation and alcohol. Medieval alchemists perfected the distillation process, separating and purifying liquids. They didn't invent it, but they perfected it. This led to the production of high-proof alcohol, which became a crucial solvent and preservative for medicines. This technique is still fundamental to pharmaceutical extraction today. Mineral medicines. Alchemists discovered that minerals, mercury, sulfur, antimony, had medicinal properties. Mercury, despite being toxic, was used to treat syphilis for centuries and was genuinely the best option available. This made alchemists realize that poisons in small doses could be medicines. This is the foundation of toxicology and pharmacokinetics. Opium and plant alkaloids. Medieval physicians didn't just stumble upon opium, they methodically studied it. They figured out how to extract the active compound, how to measure doses, and how to combine it with other substances for better results. This knowledge directly led to the modern understanding of alkaloids, some of the most important drugs we have today, like morphine and codeine. The concept of active ingredients may be the biggest breakthrough. Alchemists realized that plants didn't work their magic as whole plants. Something inside the plant was doing the work. This concept, that medicines have specific active components, is absolutely foundational to modern pharmacology. So how did we get from alchemy to pharmacy? The transition didn't happen overnight. In the 16th and 17th centuries, as the scientific revolution gained momentum, alchemy began splitting into different paths. Some alchemists continued the mystical pursuit of transmutation, but others, the ones we remember, became chemists and physicians. Paracelsus, 1493 to 1541, is often considered the bridge figure. He said something radical: the dose makes the poison. He argued that even toxic substances could be medicines if used correctly. He essentially invented the concept of pharmacology, the study of how substances affect living organisms. He also rejected the old theory of balancing four humors and started actually experimenting to see what worked. Revolutionary stuff for the 1500s. After Paracelsus, the transition accelerated. By the 18th and 19th centuries, what was once alchemy had become chemistry and pharmacy. The mysticism was stripped away, but the methods and the spirit of experimentation remained. Let's talk about some of the most important drugs in modern history and trace them back to their alchemical roots. Aspirin. The active compound, salicylic acid, comes from willow bark, which medieval physicians prescribed for headaches. German chemists isolated and synthesized it in the 1890s, but they were just refining knowledge that was 600 years old. Penicillin. Fleming discovered penicillin by accident in 1928, but the idea that fungi and molds had medicinal properties. Medieval alchemists and physicians knew that. They used moldy bread to treat wounds. Fleming just had a microscope and modern chemistry to understand why it worked. Morphine and other opioids. As I mentioned, the study of opium goes back centuries. Morphine was isolated in 1804 by pharmacists using techniques that are direct descendants of medieval distillation methods. Today's pain management owes everything to this lineage. Quinine for malaria. European physicians discovered that cinchona bark from Peru treated malaria, but they didn't invent this knowledge. They learned it from indigenous peoples who had been using it for centuries. Medieval alchemists created the framework for how medicines are discovered, extracted, and understood. Every single one of these drugs followed the same path: identification of a plant or substance with medicinal properties, extraction and purification of the active compound, and systematized testing and dosage. Here's what's really profound about this transition. Medieval alchemists developed the philosophy of systematic investigation. They didn't accept authority for authority's sake. They experimented. They kept records. They tried to understand the why behind the what. This is the scientific method before the scientific method had a name. When modern pharmacy emerged, it inherited this legacy: rigorous testing, careful documentation, and the belief that understanding nature's compounds could alleviate human suffering. The lab coat replaced the alchemist's robes, but the spirit remained the same: a combination of curiosity, skepticism, and the desire to transform raw materials into healing. So, the next time you pick up a bottle of medicine, remember, you're holding the culmination of centuries of human ingenuity. Those medieval alchemists, often dismissed as superstitious mystics, were actually laying the groundwork for one of humanity's greatest achievements: the systematic understanding and treatment of disease. They didn't turn lead into gold. They turned curiosity into healing. And that's arguably much more valuable. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the hidden history of science, please like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. What's your favorite ancient remedy that modern science actually validated? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.